Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We'll get started in just a moment as we have our webinar attendees still coming into the room. It's great to see everyone. While we're waiting for everyone to come into the room, if you can notice the Q&A area in the webinar panel, please find it and feel free to share through it your name, the name of your business, and your role also within the company. It's always great to see who we have on our webinars, and also let us know where you and your business, where you all are on your SEO journey. This is the second session in our SEO webinar series, so we have people who are just beginning and we have businesses who are on their way to being really advanced in this area, and so it'll be really good if you can put into the chat to let us know exactly where you and your business fall on this SEO spectrum. Awesome. Thanks for sending those through. I see those coming through the chat. So we'll go ahead and get started. Again, welcome to Local IQ's SEO Masterclass. This is the second session of 3 sessions, how to unlock local SEO strategies. If this is your first time joining us, again, welcome, and allow me to share with you a little bit about Local IQ. We're a multi-channel digital marketing agency, which means we specialize not just in SEO, but we also specialize in PPC, paid social, display advertising, website design, and a few other services as well. We are part of the NewsQuest Media Group and 200 trusted news brands all across the UK. So even if you want to incorporate print advertising into your integrated marketing strategy, we can help you with that. We have a pretty large team of professionals across our client services, but on the left here, you can see some of the trusted experts who will work very closely with your business to help you achieve all of your SEO growth goals. And on today's webinar, we'll focus on these specific strategies as it relates to local SEO. Google business profiles, local keyword research, on-page and technical optimization, local link building, reputation management, and then we'll wrap it up with understanding how to measure if our local SEO strategies are actually being successful. My name is Brandon Griffin. I'm head of B2B marketing for Local IQ, and I'll be the facilitator for today's conversation, but I'm very happy to have one of our SEO experts live on the call today, Natasha. Hey, Natasha, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Brandon?
I am pretty good. I'm awesome. I'm glad that you're here. You have a lot of expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, Natasha is an SEO team leader here at Local IQ, and she's worked with large e-commerce businesses, retail, service providers, and even in the healthcare industry as well. She's worked with businesses to help them optimize their websites for search engines, but also to advance the user experience for their customers as well. So a wealth of knowledge, and she'll be sharing her expertise with us today. Before we move on, just a few housekeeping things. This webinar will be recorded and the slides will be emailed to you within an hour. So I'm sorry, within 24 hours. So you'll get it into your inbox by tomorrow. And so if we go too fast, or if you feel like you need to, or you want to rewind and replay back some of the things that we're going through at your own pace, you'll have the opportunity to do that when you get the recording. And then at the same time, if you have questions while we're moving forward through today's presentation, you can go into the Q&A area right where you were just introducing yourself to us in that chat space, and go ahead and ask your question. We've got some colleagues who are working in the background, and they're going to be answering your questions along the way. And then in addition, if time allows, Natasha and I will be answering some of your questions live at the end of our webinar today. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. Let's get started. Natasha, let's start here. What is local SEO?
Yeah, Brandon, great question. And it's also a great place to start. So in general, SEO or search engine optimization involves optimizing your website and online content to rank higher in search engines like Google or Bing in an organic search. This means that your business doesn't have to pay for the click when a person visits the website. And local SEO is doubling down in this SEO strategy to make sure you're showing up for people who are near your business in the same city, same village, who are more likely to walk to your storefront or use your service because you're close to them geographically.
Natasha, you mentioned doubling down in the SEO strategy. When it comes to local SEO, what does it involve in, like, what are the specific strategies or tactics that a business could implement?
Another good question. So on our next slide, we'll talk about the first strategy that a business can implement, and that is Google Business Profile. So Google Business Profile is a free online listing provided by Google that displays essential information about local businesses, including its name, address, phone number, business hours, website, and customer reviews. It appears in Google Search and Maps, helping businesses to connect to their local customers and improve their online visibility. So on the screen, you'll see one of Local IQ's Google Business Profiles, and I'll go through some good and bad examples in a moment. But first, let me share some tips for success and run through those with you. So the first thing you'd want to do is claiming and verifying your profile. This establishes ownership and control. So without verification, you won't be able to make the necessary changes or respond to reviews, which are vital for local SEO. The next part that you want to do is completing all fields. So ensuring that your profile is informative, and that helps Google understand your business a little bit better too. So an accurate and detailed information increases the chance of your profile appearing in more relevant local searches. The next step would be accurate categories, and a lot of people miss this one, but it helps Google to categorize your business correctly, improving its visibility. You also want to add some high quality images in there. This adds to the attractiveness of your profile and adds to the authenticity. Visual content can also boost engagement and conversions. You need to as well ensure that you have consistency across your business. So the name, the address, and the phone number across all platforms, including websites and directories, enforces trustworthiness and signals to search engines that your information is reliable. You also need to encourage and respond to reviews. So a positive review is an act of a social proof, essentially, which boosts trust and attracts more customers as well. But you also need to respond to those negative reviews because it demonstrates your commitment to the customer satisfaction. And lastly, you need to be sure that you're regularly updating it as well, keeping your profile up to date with regular information, including special hours and closures. It ensures your potential customers have the most current information, and it reduces confusion.
Yeah, those are good tips, Natasha, especially I want to stress that last one that you mentioned, to keep it updated regularly, because no one likes to put in a business into Google or Bing and see that it says that they're open. You travel 20 minutes to the business and then you struggle to find a car park, and then only to find out that, like, the business is closed. So good point there. And Natasha, for the Google Business Profile, tell us about the tools that we should be using here.
Yeah, sure. So the first one is Google Insights. So Google Insights provides valuable information about how users interact with your profile. This information helps you to make some data-driven decisions to further optimize your profile. The second one is the Google Business app. So this app allows for real-time updates and engagement with your audience. It ensures that your profile is always kept up to date, so it's always very helpful, especially when you're managing a business on the go.
I see. And do you have some examples for us, good, bad, what great looks like?
I do, yes. So we have a couple of examples to show you. So if we go to the next slide, perfect. So immediately when I saw this Google Business Profile, I noticed one huge missing factor, and that is there is no website on there. So a customer will see this one if we look at the TPG one on the left. a customer will see this and they will assume the company doesn't have a website, but they do have a website, they just haven't added it to there. So you'll see it missing on the button and then it'll say add missing information. So that's a huge negative. It will be impacting their leads as well. The second bad example would be the one on the right. So immediately you can see it has very bad reviews. So 1.4 star out of 5 is very low for a Google Business Profile, which wouldn't be such a huge problem if they responded to their reviews. They need to respond to these negative reviews very professionally, so it comes across in a good tone and it's shown that they care about their customers. We then have a positive one as well. So this one is a perfect example of a Google Business Profile. It has everything in there, the website, the number, all the details are up to date. But not only that, they also have up-to-date images of all the people who work there, which is quite a nice added touch, I feel. There's also the primary category as a law firm, but they also have debt settlement, entertainment law, so they're going to be ranking for that in their local areas. They also have very up-to-date posts on there, so you can see from the owner, the last one was 6 days ago, so that's very recent. It's keeping it all nice and up-to-date. They have a Q&A at the bottom as well, so do you do half-hour free session? They respond to that. So that's a really good way of really engaging with your customers as well.
Yeah, those are really good examples. It's good to see both what good and bad looks like, because the first one you showed, I probably wouldn't even have recognized that the website was missing unless I was the actual customer trying to go to their website. But so it's small things like that that can really round out the profile. Those are really good examples, Natasha. The next strategy for local SEO is around local keyword research. What do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so keywords and keyword research are the building blocks for SEO. So they help you to create relevant content, optimize your website for search engines, and connect with your target audience by providing information or products that they may be searching for. So on the next slide, I will share some tips for success when it comes to local search research, local keyword research. So the tips for success that I would always suggest is you need to start by knowing and understanding your business. So you need to know your business, the products, services, and target audience. So identify what sets you apart from your local area. From there, you need to begin brainstorming a list of potential local keywords. Think about what your customers might type into search engines when they're looking for businesses like yours in the area. You can also look at your local competitors and see what keywords they're using on their website. This can give you a bit of an insight into popular terms in your industry. But don't forget to include local modifiers in your keywords. For example, if you're a restaurant in York, you'd want to use keywords like York Italian restaurant or best pizza in York, things like that. But you need to keep track of this. So just keep track of all the performance for your chosen keywords using free tools like Google Analytics, and adjust your strategy based on the data and continue to refine your content.
And Natasha, I see you've got some tools here. I'm glad that you've got the Google Keyword Planner because I've used that one before. And it's a free tool that provides data on like search volumes and offers keyword suggestions. What's SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Google Trends? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, of course. So let's run through Ahrefs first. So on the next slide, we should be able to see a screenshot of Ahrefs and what the keywords page will look like if you type in your website or a competitor's website. So this will give you some helpful information and help you discover keywords that you may be ranking for and what position they're also in. But it can look a little bit technical at first. So let's break it down a little bit. So first you'll see on there that there's volume. So this is the estimated number of searches per month for this keyword. We also have the keyword difficulty. So this is an estimation of how hard it is to rank in the top 1 to 10 positions for that keyword. The lower the number, the easier it is to rank. So if you are a small business, it's better to rank for ones that have a lower keyword difficulty. There's also the cost per click on there. So this is the average price advertisers pay every time the ad was clicked if this was a PPC campaign. So it kind of gives you an insight on the value for money, essentially. There's also traffic, so an estimated number of visits that keyword gets from organic. It will also give you an estimate on what position you're in on search engines. So it's all incredibly helpful to refine your keywords. And then the next tool I'm going to go through is Google Trends. So this is a Google tool that offers real-time search trends and related queries. So this tool can be used to help find your niche, see how a search term performs to help narrow down your keywords list. So you can see how it behaves long-term as well. So you can select your range from the last 5 years, for example, or you can do 2004 to present. And this can help with seasonal changes, so you can see where it dips and where it gets better again. You can also see the popularity over time for something that might be trendy now, but wasn't 2 years ago.
So Natasha, just coming to the site, I put in estate agents London.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then you mentioned maybe changing the time frame.
Past day, you can edit this. So you can put 2004 to present, and you can actually see exactly what it is. So you'll be able to see like an ebb and flow of how it goes down. Like I can see here, it goes down around Christmas time and then picks up again as we get through those seasons. So that's seasonality.
Oh, this is cool. So you come to Google Trends, you type in the keyword, and then you can see the history of when everyone is searching for that keyword or not. I see.
Exactly.
And so you're right. So around December, it starts to go down, but then there are peak periods, and so that can be an indication for a business on a positive to, hey, increase your investments, increase your activity in terms of marketing during these peak periods. And if there's a low period, it can be an explanation as to why you may be getting low traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I see. And also, I think around the low periods as well, it's from working with clients, I've always told them, it's not that you should not be doing anything during these low periods. That's a great time to increase like your awareness campaigns as well. So that way, when people do begin to ramp back up to inquire, they have that name recognition for your business. So great tool there. Was that everything you wanted to show us here?
Yes, that's everything.
Cool. Bring that back over here. Okay, cool. So what's next?
So the next one that we'll be running through is the on-page optimization for local SEO. So we're going to run through technical on-page, but first I want to do the focus on just the on-page one. So if we move to the next slide, it will give a little bit of information here on all of these. So what we want to do to improve on-page optimizations is, first of all, you need to craft compelling and locally relevant title tags, meta descriptions, and header tag structures for your page, and use the local keywords you discovered in your keyword research phase. From there, you need to develop content that caters to local searches, events, news. This can include things like blogs and event pages, location-specific landing pages, things like that. You also need to make sure your internal linking, so it links to the relevant pages on the website. So you can ensure your navigation is user-friendly and intuitive. But Google also gives a preference to mobile optimized sites. So we need to make sure that the website is mobile friendly and responsive. So then when you're ready to put some of these into action, there's a few tools that I would recommend. So the first one would be Meta SEO Inspector. So this is a plugin that you can add and use in your Chrome web browser. So you can click it while on the website of your choice and then view the meta title and description, the header tag structure, if schema is implemented, canonical tags, and more. So it's a really useful tool if you just want to quickly see how a website's doing, and it doesn't just have to be your own. We also have Yoast and Rank Math. So both of these are SEO plugins for WordPress. So they will help your website to improve rankings on search engines by helping you to optimize your site for content and keywords as well. The last recommendation I would have is the SEO audit from Local IQ. So this is a great free tool that you can use just to steer on how your SEO strategy currently ranks. So we'll put the link in the chat and you can give it a go, and it's really easy. You just put your domain name in and you'll get a report within minutes.
Good shout there, Natasha. And someone said I went past that first slide too quickly. But this here, so that when we talk about SEO, there are 4 pillars of SEO: technical SEO, content, on-page, and off-page SEO. If you want to know more about each of these, I encourage you to go back and watch session 1 of our SEO series, because we went into each of these in great depth. But for today, as it relates to local SEO, we're just going to focus on page and technical. And Natasha, you had mentioned the good use of header tags and localized content. And I think on our website, I got it here, but I'm going to pull it up in another window. I think our website is a really good example as to like how you can do that, because we've got several different locations all across the UK. And so when you come to our website and you click on locations, you can see all the different cities and villages and communities. And if you click on one, let's go to Bradford, for example. When you come to this landing page, it's very specific to the Bradford community. We have it in the hero area section above the fold of the website. As you scroll down, you see the different headings. This is the headings that you were mentioning, right, Natasha?
Yeah,
Here.
that's it.
Yeah, we've got the different headings there. We have images that are relevant to that particular community. So when people land on it, it resonates with them. And then you can even, if you have different locations and different clients across markets, you can incorporate and localize that landing page even more by having testimonials that are specific to that particular region or businesses within that region, and even other videos and case study examples. The other thing I think you mentioned, Natasha, was it internal link building?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I think another good example of that, again, using our website just as an example to help people get that illustrative point. When you go to the About Us section on our website, you scroll down, we have awards listed. And when you click on these awards, it actually takes you to a blog that we've written about that award or other. And so if your business has awards and such, you can also showcase them like this, but don't just put the logo, write a blog about the award and then link that logo to that blog so that people can see the story about it. And then as you start to build that collection of blogs on your website, don't just write it and put it off to the side by itself. See how it can connect to other blogs that you may have written in the past. And so when you come here, you can see that you can like link out to other content that we've written, and it just kind of continues. And so what you do is you're keeping people on your website longer, as well as you're helping your SEO strategy, as Natasha was talking about, from that internal linking perspective. So just wanted to show those bits, Natasha. I hope that was okay.
Yeah, perfect.
I thought they were a good example. So that's on page. And so now what's technical optimization for local SEO? What can we do here?
So technical SEO is a pillar of SEO that can get a little bit more complex. So it may be the area where it's most helpful to have a web designer or a programmer to help. But there's some tips for success here as well that can be implemented and work with a web developer or just by yourself. So if you implement schema markup to provide structured data to search engines, this can help your website to appear in rich snippets and local search results. You also want to create an XML sitemap for your website and submit this to Google Search Console. It helps search engines understand your website structure. You need to also ensure that your website is secure with HTTPS. So Google gives a ranking a boost to secure websites, and it boosts trust with your visitors. How fast your website loads is important as well, but I will talk through that more in a moment. But there's a few tools that I would recommend you use for this. So of course, Google Search Console, like I ran through, this is a free tool So it allows you to monitor how Googlebot views your site, submit sitemaps, and receive alerts about issues. If you install Google Analytics, your business can track your website's traffic, user behavior, and engagement metrics. So this can be used to make some informed decisions about your SEO. And finally, we have Google PageSpeed Insights as well. So Google PageSpeed Insights is a free tool that analyzes the speed of a website on mobile and desktop devices, and it gives a score between 0 and 100. The higher the score, it means the more optimized your website is in terms of speed and efficiency. It will then provide a list on how to improve this. There's also 4 scores of them. So there's performance, so the overall score that dictates how well your page is performing in terms of speed and optimization. There's accessibility, so ease of navigation, alt text, contrasted colors, things like that. Also best practices, so how well your page adheres to web development best practices, optimized codes, secure connections like we went through, things like that. And then finally, your SEO, how well your page is optimized for search engines, so meta descriptions, structured data, mobile friendliness, things like that.
That's cool. I pulled it up here. So if you go to it, pagespeed.web.dev, I put in the website that we were just looking at on your previous slide, Night Frank. And so you just come to this website, put your domain name in, and then click Analyze. And pretty quickly, it starts to give you some stats.
Yeah, it's a really helpful tool. And you can see at the top as well, you can toggle between mobile and desktop.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. So they passed. So what's the core Web Vitals assessment? Because this business, they passed the mobile version of it, but the desktop version, it failed. What's that?
So Google Core Web Vitals is a Google assessment, essentially, that it is a ranking factor. So they assess how fast or speed of the website is, and they will rank it based off of that. So it passing mobile is really good because they are a mobile first approach.
Okay. And then as we scroll down, it gives you the scores in the areas that you had just mentioned: performance,
Yeah,
accessibility,
correct.
best practices, SEO. Got it. Okay, cool. So that's a good resource there to use. Thank you for sharing that, and that's a good tool that people can use. Again, when you get the slides from today's presentation, you'll be able to come through and actually click on the links. So thanks for sharing those, Natasha. And to our webinar attendees, that wraps up the on-page and technical strategies for local SEO. So we just have 3 more areas we want to quickly mention before we get into the Q&A for our webinar. And just to remind everyone, if you have questions along the way, please do keep them coming in the chat. I saw some great questions there. Our colleagues are already answering them, so thank you for doing that. And also don't forget, we've got other webinars, the session 1 of this webinar. So if we're a little bit too advanced for you right now, it's okay. Keep watching, but you can go back and watch the recording from session 1 to get a little bit more foundational level of understanding. So Natasha, the next tactic is local link building strategies, which is simply just about getting other websites to link to your website. But why is this such an important tactic, Natasha? And maybe you can just give us 3 or so examples of how a business can begin to action this strategy.
Yeah, of course. So the one thing to remember when you're trying to get other websites to link to your website is that quality is more important than quantity. So building relevant local backlinks that are genuinely beneficial to your community and audiences, this strengthens your online presence and sends cues to search engines that your business is more credible. So there are a few ways that you can do this. They're all listed there, but I'm going to run through around 3 of these just to give a bit of insight into this. So the first thing you want to do is local business directories. So submit your business to local ones such as Yelp, Yellow Pages. Ensure your name, address, and phone number is consistent across all directories. The next thing you can do is local news and media. So if you collaborate with local news outlets, maybe magazines, community blogs, things like that, this offers to offer and provide insight to things, share your business story, and sponsor events potentially. They may actually link to your website by doing this. A last one that I'll go through is going for local influencers and bloggers in your niche. So you can reach out to them for a collaboration, maybe to feature your business with them as well. So there's a lot of things you can do.
To come off mute there. Good tactics there. And for tools you can use, we've got here Google Alerts. Google Alerts is really nice because you can go in and put in your business name, and Google will send you an email every time your business name is mentioned in the news or on a person's blog. And so that's a good strategy because as people mention your business name on their website, sometimes they don't always link back to your website. So if you get the notification that a business is mentioning you, sometimes you can reach out and say, thank you. And can you also just link back to our website because that would be really helpful. Second, Google Analytics, again, is a really powerful tool. There's also a section there where you can see source traffic and referral sources. And these are websites that are sending people to your website already. And so if you notice that there are a few websites that are sending traffic your way, sometimes you can, again, reach out to them and solidify that strategy even more. And then even we here at Local IQ, we can support your business with local business listings, because we mentioned earlier at the onset Google business profiles, but that's only one type of a directory website. There are several others. Bing has its own, and just because you create the Google business profile doesn't mean that your business is going to show up in Bing's version of their profile listing. So you do have to create as well as manage these profiles separately and independently. And so sometimes that can become cumbersome, but there are solutions and services that can help your business streamline the management of those. And so again, you can click on this link to find out a little bit more. So thanks for taking us through that one, Natasha. I think there's one more, this next, reputation management.
Yes, so this is very similar to some of the tips I would have shared earlier on the Google Business Profile section. So this is all about claiming your business profile in directories and business listing websites. So Google Business Profile is one example, but there are many others, like you said, and there's even some industry-specific ones that your customers may use. So claim your spot in these directories, get and respond to those reviews, and make sure your information stays up to date. When using some tools, you mentioned Google Alerts for link building. This can also be used here. So your business can be notified every time your business name is mentioned in a blog or a news article. We also have social media management tools like Hootsuite, which make it easy for you to manage and view your comments across multiple social media channels and accounts in one place. And lastly, you can do a review management tools like Trustpilot. These are really well respected among consumers across a wide set of industries.
That's cool. And we featured here Local IQ's Trustpilot review page, so that profile, so that individuals can see what it looks like. And again, you can click on this once you get the link and see the reviews that we have and see what yours could look like as well. And finally, Natasha, we know that measuring success is very important. Many of the marketers watching have limited budgets, limited resources, and sometimes we have to prove to our stakeholders, others in the business, that what we're doing is actually making a difference and show that it's working, so that way we can get more resources to invest into the strategy. So that said, when we're looking at the reports from our digital marketing efforts, what metrics should we be focused on to see the results of our local SEO tactics specifically?
That's a really good question. So as we went through in our last webinar, SEO is a long-term strategy. So like you said, it can be hard to prove sometimes compared to PPC, which is more immediate. This means we need to keep track of some of these metrics to see what's working and what isn't. So I would recommend keeping an eye on your traffic. So focus on organic traffic. You can also see paid if you use Google Analytics. So you just keep track of that and see if it is improving. But you also want to keep track of your keywords. Are they improving? And are they non-branded? So you want non-branded, localized, transactional keywords. This will bring in more people as well, because branded means they already know who you are, but non-branded means you're finding someone new, essentially. And lastly, you want to take a look at impressions and clicks. These are very important because there's certain things that will give a red flag to you when doing SEO. So for example, if you have high impressions and no clicks, maybe that means your meta descriptions need a little bit of work.
No, thanks for bringing those out, because sometimes when you get the reports, it's a lot of stats, and that's the good thing about digital marketing, is that you have the analytics and that data available, but then you have to turn it into the insights and then actionable items and steps that you and your team can actually make to improve the campaigns. And so sometimes you're looking at the same information, but the information tells a different story depending on what your strategy and your tactic is. So thanks for calling those three things out: the traffic, making sure we look at the organic keywords, is especially about the non-branded keywords that show up, and localized keywords, and then impressions, how we can make those improvements. So we've covered a lot in the last 35 minutes. We've got about 10 more minutes, of which we'll be able to answer some questions that have come through. You all have asked some really great questions. Thank you. Please do take a time and put those questions through the chat. Our team is here to answer. Natasha and I are going to answer a few in just a moment. But just to remind you, you've got the webinar recording that's going to be coming your way. So if we were moving too fast for you, or it'll be helpful for you to go back and watch it again, you'll be able to do that at your own pace. And we always like to encourage you to find at least one thing that you can do from our webinars to begin to put the information to use and in action. So not just take the information in and do nothing with it. We want to encourage you to try to find something that you can do to take action. And if you don't do anything else, one thing that you can do is go to our website. I just put the link in the chat again for an SEO audit. And so much like the page speed tool that I just shared, if you go to the link that I just put in the chat and type in your website address, it'll generate a report for you within minutes that'll rank your website and give you an extensive review on some very critical factors as it relates to coming up in the search engines and ranking for success. It'll give you an audit of your website in these 5 categories. We talked today about on-page SEO. We talked about links, internal links, as well as external outbound links or backlinks, performance, usability, and how even your social media presence is helping your business and your website. It's a great tool. It's free. It's new on our website, so I encourage everyone to try to take some time and do that before you leave us today. All right. So with that, Natasha, let's go to a few questions that have come through, and I appreciate all of our team members who are in the background answering some of them that are coming through. One question that came through was, how does a Google Business Profile differ from Bing Places? Bing Places is Bing's version of their business directory. So how does it differ?
Yeah, so firstly, Bing Places isn't as widely used as Google Business Profile. So this will mean that maybe your business won't benefit as much from being listed on Bing. I would still recommend doing it, but you're going to likely see a bit more traffic coming from Google. In addition to this, Google also has a more effective local SEO technique there. So they have a local pack, which allows businesses to feature at the top of search results pages, whereas Bing doesn't do this. So there's a few differences here and there.
Yeah, I appreciate that someone called that out and asked that specifically, because a lot of times within the industry, we do spend a lot of time talking about Google, but Bing are making some really good developments. You probably have heard about in the last few weeks and months, and even I think a month or so ago, we did a webinar that talked about some new features in Bing. So that is also available on our website to watch on demand, to hear about their new features and how businesses can really leverage the audience and the reach that Bing has, again, to incorporate it into your overall strategy, and maybe not just focusing on one solution or one platform, and having that integrated approach. One other question that came through, Natasha, what are some common mistakes that businesses make when it comes to local keyword research? You talked about that today. What are some mistakes that you've seen?
I think the most common mistake would be just not understanding the target audience, but also neglecting local modifiers. So like I said, if it's an Italian restaurant in York, you want to go for Italian restaurant in York and things like that. And it's also failing to track and adjust your keyword strategy based on performance data. If something's not working, you need to keep track of that and then change it.
Cool, good deal there. Let's see, we got another one. Someone's asked, I guess in reference to negative online reviews for reputation management in local SEO, how do you effectively respond to it? How do you effectively respond to it? I guess that's a valid question too, because sometimes if someone is, sharing their bad experience, sometimes it may be their version of the experience, and so a business may want to come back and give them the facts as they see it. But what's the most effective way to respond?
This comes up a lot as well. So this is one of the most commonly asked questions. So what I would always recommend is you address the negative reviews professionally and empathetically as well. So acknowledge the issue, offer a solution, and then demonstrate a commitment to improving customer satisfaction, because this will encourage satisfied customers to leave a few more positive reviews as well, just to balance out the negatives.
Yeah, so it is encouraging to see when a business has responded, and that they're trying to still, even though the experiences may be complete, they're still maybe trying to drive for satisfaction and trying to still bring resolve. Let's see, one other here. What's the ideal length for meta descriptions and title tags for local SEO optimization? So this is one of those things I think that probably showed up in the technical on-page strategy. What's your recommendation there for how long meta descriptions need to be? And yeah.
So meta descriptions should ideally be around 150 to 160 characters, but your title tag should be around 50 to 60 to have the best visibility in search engines.
Cool. But I think one of those tools that you mentioned, especially if your website is built in WordPress, you mentioned a tool. Which one was it?
So there's two of them. So you can use Yoast or Rank Math, and they will tell you if you've gone over the set number of characters.
Yeah, as you're typing it into your page, I think it goes from red to green. So if it's green, you're in a good space, and if it's red, then you may want to make some adjustments. And the meta tag descriptions, can you explain again? I know you went in on it with our first session, but can you explain again how that shows up on the search engine side?
So when you go to a search engine's results page, you'll see a title of the business's website and then a description underneath. So that is the meta title and description. So the meta title is essentially helping search engines to rank the page a little bit better, whereas the meta descriptions are actually going to help increase your clicks, because people are going to read that and choose you over a competitor.
That makes sense. And when we're talking about the difference between organic SEO and paid PPC type campaigns, if you want to change the results, that the content of the search results that come up from the organic listings, that's the meta tag section of the website. But if you want to change the text, the copy, the content of your ad from a paid search campaign, that's when you have to go into your actual platform and make the changes to your specific text ads. We've had some experiences in the past where audience member, they mentioned that they made the change on the ads, but they didn't see it take place in the organic side of it, and that's why those two are separate. They show up in the same place, but they're separate. Cool. Well, Natasha, that is all the time we have today. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to share your knowledge and expertise with us. We had a lot of great questions in the chat. and I see we've got most of them answered. There are a few that we weren't able to answer, but it's okay because we're going to put the answers to all of your questions on our blog on tomorrow and send that to you along with the slides from today's presentation and the webinar recording, so that way you can review all of it again at your leisure with the answers to your questions. And I also want to invite everyone to our third webinar session in this SEO Masterclass webinar series that we'll have next month. So if you haven't already registered, make sure you go to our website to register right after you do your SEO audit for your website. So again, thank you everyone for taking some time out of your day to join us, especially you, Natasha, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next webinar. Thank you.